What's up, YouTube? I'm Undrafted. Welcome to Pour Another Packers podcast. It is Friday, May 17th, 2019. There hasn't been a ton of Packer news this past week, so I am introducing a new segment called Quick Hits. I want to make it short and simple. I want to keep the video under 10 minutes. So without further ado, let's get started. So I wanted to shake things up a little bit this week, change up the format, if you will. I'm actually recording the video on Friday morning, so I'm gonna get this thing hopefully edited here early in the morning without my toddler completely distracting me or destroying my computer. But I'm looking forward to posting this later in the day. Not a ton of Packer news to talk about this last week. I did want to stay true to my word that I would post a video every Friday, but sometimes these things are going to be a little bit more straight and to the point, a little bit more simple than the in-depth topics that I've gone into in the past. 1 month gone. I had my 1 month anniversary of starting this podcast last Monday. I'm currently at 93 subscribers, which is completely awesome. I had a goal to get 100 subscribers by my first month. I kind of hit a snag last weekend. Things really started to quiet down. I was averaging about 5 to 6 subscribers a day, and then it just got quiet. But I'm not too discouraged by it. I mean, it is the Packers off season. There's not a lot of people going out there and searching for Packers news. So at this point, it's just about me trying to get my training wheels off, trying to get a little bit of a following, some momentum. I've had some great comments. I've had some feedback. I've had some conversations that I appreciate. And we're going to get to that 100 very soon. I'll change my URL. And then as we look forward to, some of the OTAs, which by the way, if we look forward here, off-season workouts are going to be starting next week. So we have a couple on May 20th, 21st, the 23rd, 28th, 29th. So it's really kind of spread out a couple days here and there, spread out through the next 3 weeks. Packers are going to be back out on the field. You're going to have both the rookies and some of the veterans out there training. And that's really kind of that brief glimpse that we're going to get of hopefully some Packer news, but also the Packers kind of jiving together, getting their offensive playbook figured out, getting some of the defense together before we take that month-long break. And then we hit training camp at the end of July 25th. This is always a frustrating time of the year for me too, just because you get so excited for the Packers season coming up. And then if you live in Wisconsin like I do, you're also just pretty much wishing away your entire summer because you want some Packers football. You want to see Aaron Rodgers light things up. So that's kind of what we have looking at the off-season schedule. But over the last couple of weeks, the Packers have had some free agent signings. I mean, I guess they're unrestricted free agent or rookie free agent signings. I don't like to talk about these a whole lot, to be perfectly honest with you, just because these are guys that I don't really know if they're going to have a huge impact on the team. Remember, the Packers can carry a 90-man roster. It has to be cut down to 53 exiting that final preseason game. They did fill some holes as far as positions that were a little bit thin at depth when we're talking about the team. So they had a couple linebackers, a wide receiver, a few cornerbacks. They actually have themselves a quarterback in Manny Wilkins from Arizona State. Wilkins played 40 games in college. Last 3 seasons, completed 704 of 1,100 pass attempts. So he had a 63.2 completion percentage, which is pretty decent. 8,000 yards passing, 52 touchdowns to 23 interceptions. Not really sure what's going to go on with that quarterback competition. You have Kaiser back there, you have Tim Boyle back there. So you might get something out of Wilkins, you might get something out of some of these other guys. They also did go on and claimed a couple of guys off of the waivers. So you have safety Mike Tyson, not the same guy that bites ears, but no, this person was drafted by Seattle in the 6th round. He didn't make the team after the 2018 minicamp, and then he actually ended up down in Houston. He did start 2 games down in Houston, recording a couple of tackles and a pass defense. So who knows, maybe they'll show some flashes in these off-season training camps and heading into training camp and make his way on the roster. They also picked up a wide receiver off of waivers from the Giants. He spent last year with the Giants. Played in 7 games, 40 receptions, 40 yards, averaging 10 yards per reception. I think the main thing with this guy, Will Davis from the waivers, is that he's going to be one of those special teams guys. He averaged 7.4 yards in punt returns, 24.4 yards in kick returns. So really, you bring in all these guys, it's kind of a total of about 14, 15 guys, whether they're rookie free agents or taking them off of waivers. You're just bringing them in to see essentially what they can do. I would imagine 80% of these guys are probably going to get cut, but it breeds competition. Competition is important this time of the year. It lets you kind of know where some of your veteran guys sit, some of where your, I guess your like your Kevin King sit. Excuse me, maybe not Kevin King. It lets you know where maybe like your Josh Jones sit, because they haven't had the most successful career so far. They're coming into the later part of their rookie contracts, and these guys have a lot to prove and they want to play in the NFL. So you got to sign those guys. I think that, I mean, like I said, I'm not going to dive into it too much. The other thing that I want to talk about real quick was some of the hype around this revamped defense. So you can find articles on Bleacher Report, you can find articles on ESPN. There's a lot of talk about how this defense is going to be much more improved, and it really should be much more improved. I mean, you focus on the, not only this year's draft, but the last couple drafts, drafting heavy on defense. You have Mike Pettin coming into his second year as the defensive coordinator. You replace Clay Matthews and Nick Perry with Za'Darius and Preston Smith. You get rid of HaHa Clinton-Dix and bring in Adrian Amos. You draft a guy like Darnell Savage, who, by the way, is getting a lot of Defensive Rookie of the Year predictions as far as what he can do for the Packers defense. You have Alexander coming back for his second year, Josh Jackson coming back for his second year. There should be hype around this Packers defense, and for so long, it's always been, when I watch these games, okay, get the offense on the field, because that's where the excitement happens. For the first time in a long time, when the defense takes the field, there's going to be a lot of reason to be, excited about what could potentially happen and some of the disruption that they can make. So I agree with some of the articles. The defense better start to figure it out, as I've stated before, because the offense is going to be slow going early on in the year, and Matt LaFleur really has to start to figure out this offense, and Aaron Rodgers needs to start to figure out this offense, and hopefully that defense can kind of just keep them in the games while they're trying to score some touchdowns. Last thing that I want to touch upon real quick before we finish up the quick hits episode is some of the Super Bowl odds out there. So looking at Super Bowl odds coming out of the draft, coming out of free agency, I don't pay a ton of attention to this stuff, to be honest, but I thought I'd have a little bit of fun with it. The Packers actually have the 10th best odds to win the Super Bowl at 22-1. So if we kind of look at this list here, you have Patriots 6-1 leading the charge. Right behind them, you have the Rams at 8-1, Chiefs 10-1, Saints 12-1. And then shit just gets crazy. You have the Browns at 14-1. There's apparently a ton of people pulling the horn, the toot-toot on the Browns hype train. I think that's part of the reason why they kind of make the odds the way they do, because people are just crazy about Odell going to Cleveland and Baker Mayfield coming into his sophomore year. So I ignore the Browns. Colts somehow managed to make the 15-1 odds. The Eagles are 16-1 odds favorites. There's that stretch of 3 there where I'm kind of scratching my head as far as I don't really understand why people think that they have better Super Bowl odds than the Packers. And then you have the Chargers 19-1, and then right in front of us you have the Bears at 20-1. Surprisingly, Cowboys and Vikings both have 22-1 odds as far as winning the Super Bowl. Kind of looking at the spread or the line as far as Super Bowl odds, I think the Packers are kind of sleepers when it comes to the Super Bowl favorites for the first time, in my opinion, in a long time, and rightfully so. They came off of an awful season. We have a new head coach. There's a lot of unknowns in this Packers team. But for someone like myself who has kind of really dived into the roster, for any of the, like the Rob Demovskis of the world and some of the Packers.com guys who have kind of seen what the Packers have built around them, there's reason to believe, and we can all say this at this time in this year, but there's reason to believe that the Packers have a shot just like anyone else does. It's really, you can't predict the season. It's going to boil down to those moments in the game. You just got to stay in the game until that fourth quarter, 5 minutes left to go, and then you have to make the one play that the other team doesn't, and that's essentially how you win games in the NFL. Super Bowl odds are fun to talk about this time of year. It'll be a lot more fun to talk about in the NFC Championship game when it's just 4 teams remaining, and hopefully the Packers are one of them. But like I said, I want to keep this video short and sweet. I am working on a more elaborate piece for next week. I'm going to be heading out of town next Friday, so hopefully I can get something edited, put together for you on Thursday before I go. Like I said, I do want to stay true to my word as far as posting these videos weekly. And I am actually looking to start publishing actual podcasts, so whether it's on iTunes, Spotify, any of your favorite podcast streaming sources. If you have suggestions for host sites that I can use, I would appreciate that. I'm doing a little bit of homework right now, but I think it really boils down to getting that 100 subscribers on YouTube, so I can then lead people back to the YouTube channel where you can actually watch me drink my coffee, watch me just ramble and talk. So with all that being said, I appreciate you checking out the video. I hope you like this format a little bit better. Like I said, I'm going to edit it together. It should hopefully be under 10 minutes long. Again, hit that subscribe button down in the corner. Go ahead and comment down below. I appreciate you checking out the video. I apologize that there's not a whole lot more Packer news to talk about, but there's not a ton I can do about that. And as always, I will see you on the internet. Thanks for watching.